Although there are 4 main events of the Copper Classic, there are many that feel that this is the premier race, the Silver Crown cars, traditional upright Indianapolis cars. And on the pole this year, a bit of a surprise, some dirt track and talents and a brand new engine. Jimmy Sills, the driver, powered by Mopar. Is this the engine to win this race?
Well, you know, we ran this engine all last year, and it performed great every race. And now Gary's built a car that's a little more suitable to pavement, and it's been fast ever since he unloaded it here in practice and showed in qualifying, and hope we can keep it up through the race.
You had a great practice day. You must be very confident.
Yeah, the car feels good everywhere on the racetracks, good in traffic, and I think we'll be in good shape.
On the outside of the front row is the driver having perhaps the best overall weekend this year at Copper Classic, Kenny Irwin Jr. And he may have a surprise up his sleeve. He fires off from the outside of row number 1. Now back on the inside of the third row is another one of the potential surprises of this year's Copper Classic. This is Doug KALITTA. Long, very strong on pavement, but this is his best chance at doing well at the Copper Classic. This field is strong from top to absolute bottom. Here's Bobby Gerald.
Larry, you said the fast qualifiers were up front. Well, we've got some racers here in row 5 and 6. We've got Davey Hamilton on the outside of row number 5, one of the most versatile open-wheel drivers on pavement anywhere in the country. Dave Blaney, the 95 World of Outlaws champion, sits to the inside of him. Tony Stewart, the USAC Silver Crown defending champion, is here on the inside of row number 6. He drives Glenn Nibel's car, which for the first time this year, Tony, is a V8 instead of a V6. You said it makes it a little bit easier to drive as a V8. Why is that?
Well, you know, last year when we ran the car here with the V6, it's a lot harder to keep up with the V8s down the straightaway, and we were probably giving up 6 or 7 car lengths and having to make up 8 in the corner. And this year we don't lose all that advantage down the straightaway. You know, they pull us a little bit because we're a little bit under horsepowered right now, but when we get down to the end of the straightaway, I don't have to make all that ground up. We normally can get by them pretty easy.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Tony Stewart on the inside of row number 6. On the outside of Stewart, how about the defending champion of this race in car number 69? That is Mike Bliss. And guys, if we could, I'm going to throw one more name at you. Jack Hodenschild drives car number 4. He's 2 rows back on the inside. This field is loaded front to back. Only 0.8 of a second separated the first car from the 24th car on the grid. This is going to be a great race. Steve?
Thanks, Bob. And you know, Larry, I find myself using the word traditional a lot to describe these cars.
The design of these cars actually goes all the way back to the 1920s, and you mentioned earlier that they are very similar to the Indy cars of the 1950s. Well, earlier Steve had an opportunity to talk about the new engines in these cars.
A year ago here at Phoenix, we were telling you how the V6 Silver Crown car could run at a lighter weight, was maybe easier on tires. Forget all that. USAC gave the V6 the boot. They're now all V8s, 4 header pipes on each side, 355 cubic inches. However, USAC has allowed them to shorten up the wheelbase, just a couple of inches, make the car easier to turn, but still has a much longer wheelbase than the USAC Sprinter and a huge visual difference. And I always thought the V6 wasn't right on these cars anyway. They're just too nostalgic for that thing.
Well, Steve, it certainly changed the strategy a lot when you eliminated the 6s and went to V8. You can see the front row of Jimmy Sills and Kenny Irwin Jr. Those are probably the 2 driver car combinations that most people are pointing toward. George Schneider's in this field. He won the very first Silver Crown Division Championship way back in 1971.
This is the greatest assemblage of Silver Crown cars ever.
And it seems to get better and better every year. We have something like 12 brand new cars, and I think that's a high watermark for the last decade of building these Silver Crown behemoths over the winter months.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that there were almost 70 cars in the country, and that's how many showed up here.
And this was a division that in the middle 1970s a lot of people thought would never rebound, and indeed in the 1960s when they were not running these races in a very organized fashion, there were still competitors and teams who kept these cars in the garages. This was a division that was actually brought out of mothballs almost by demand of the racing fraternity itself.
And it's a little like Daytona. It's the first race of the season, but for the Silver Crown cars, it's the biggest and the best. Coming down for the green flag.
Off of corner number 4, Jimmy Sills brings the field around. Good alignment right up across the start-finish line, and Sills takes the early advantage, darting into the high bank. Corner number 1, Kenny Irwin Jr. in a black number 14 follows suit. He runs in second. Doug KALITTA in a black number 222 is also dicing for 3rd place.
And I'm sure, like a lot of fans, I'm starting to release my breath if they can get one incident-free lap underway here and get strung out a little bit. They're short wheelbase, high horsepower. They don't have the huge offset of the super modifieds. This is real man racing.
It's a lot of equipment that uses a lot of space on a track that becomes extremely narrow at speeds approaching 150 miles per hour. And remember, the competitiveness of this field, the entire field from top to bottom separated by less than 1 tick of the clock, 1 second.
Kenny Irwin, the number 14 car. Doing our show last week and narrowly missed winning the midget class here on this huge Phoenix weekend. Right now, Kenny has his sights set on Jimmy Sills, the leader in the 75 car, that Dodge-powered machine, sponsored by Mopar, the parts arm of the Chrysler Corporation. Good to see them in dirt track and USAC competition.
The guy on the move, Steve, is the black, pink-trimmed number 69 of Milwaukee, Oregon's Mike Bliss. He is the defending race winner of this race. He has won 3 times at the Copper Classic. There's Irwin moving down to the inside of Stills. Irwin has the advantage going into corner number 1. And the man who started on the outside of the front row eclipses the pole setter. But here comes Mike Bliss in the Bliss Express, number 69.
Randy Tolsma also putting some pressure on Jimmy Sills for that second spot. Stay with us, folks. This is about as good as it gets. We are back at the Copper World Classic, and the USAC Silver Crown cars are putting on a classic performance. I'm Steve Evans, along with Larry Newber and Bob Gerald and Kenny Irwin Jr. out front.
And the rocket ship on the move is Mike Bliss. Mike Bliss tested the inside of Kenny Irwin a few laps ago. This time he tries the high side. Irwin skates up a little bit. He moves Bliss right up to the outside wall, going through the dogleg down the backstretch, closes the door this time around, but Bliss wants the challenge one more time.
Well, that Bliss car is loose, but fast.
Mike Bliss hangs onto the high side. Remember, that is a flat-out corner, round 3 and 4. Mike Bliss has momentum. Now Randy Tolsma in the black number 6, the driver who's moved from the west to the Midwest to run these USAC cars. He also begins to mount a challenge to Irwin.
So it is Bliss, Irwin, and Tolsma in that order, first, second, and third.
And the pole setter, Jimmy Sills, is beginning to kick up his heels again in the white number 75. And, oh, for you George Snider fans, the man who was the champ back in 71, his race is over, Steve.
And how about Dave Blaney from the world of Outlaws in the 110 car, the yellow and blue machine? He's starting to find his way around the Phoenix Oval.
That's 10th, 11th, and 12th. Davey Hamilton, the 110 car of Dave Blaney, moving in the high side. And that black car sneaking into your picture, that's the Big Ben ringing. Bentley Warren has moved up from the back of the pack. Bentley, one of the fastest cars in the speedway right now.
And Ford fans, take heart, the 110 car, the vibrant car, the yellow and blue machine of Dave Blaney. Look at this, blowing by number 18, Jason McCord, taking that 10th spot.
Meanwhile, up front, it heats up again. Kenny Irwin very loose, traversing corner number 2. Yellow flag is out for Tice Carlson, who has come to a stop.
Tice Carlson, and an example of really the old-style Silver Crown cars, and either overheating or a problem. Certainly a lot of steam coming out of that machine. Earlier, Bob Gerald did some interesting comparisons between the types of cars.
A traditional big car looks like this. Rounded nose, long wheelbase, 100 inches, and it's not super aerodynamic. Now here's what one of the new ones looks like. This beautiful machine is a 1996 J&J chassis. It's driven by the World of Outlaws champion Dave Blaney. More sloped in the front. The right side wheels are hung way out for a little more offset. The wheelbase is shorter, 96 inches. That's 4 inches shorter than the 100-inch cars. The engine sits a whole bunch lower in this one, and it's also moved further forward. Now, what I think is one of the key points of this race car that makes it neat is this air deflector right up here. What it does is it funnels the wind over the top of the driver's helmet. Finally, we get back here to the tail tank, and this is USAC Silver Crown Racing in 1996. 3 digits, number 110. For the first time in history, USAC has so many cars, they had to issue 3-digit numbers.
And Bob, just moments ago, that 110th car of Dave Blaney was called into the pits by USAC. They suspicioned that he had a fuel leak. They give it a real good once-over. It was it must be our imagination, and sent him back out on the racetrack.
And it's a nice rule because when nothing is wrong, they do let you back into position.
And it's a very nice position that Dave Blaney enjoys right now. I believe he's 10th and moving.
And the green flag is moving. She's a fluttering. And Mike Bliss in the pink and black number 69 and Kenny Irwin in the orange and black number 14 dart out to a big lead, a big jump on this restart for first and second place.
And car owners, when you're designing your paint scheme, remember that splash of pink on the Mike Bliss car. It just makes it so easy for everybody to pick out of the crowd.
In the yellow number 25, they're moving in the high side. That is Tony Stewart. He's having another solid race. This is the guy who was the champion in all three USAC open wheel divisions a year ago, midget sprints in these Silver Crown cars.
And a guy that USAC and IRL are looking at, much like NASCAR does, Jeff Gordon, as the bright light.
Running third in that white number 75 is Jimmy Sills, and having moved up to fourth position, also having pretty spectacular race, is Ohio's Jack Hewitt. Jack is not necessarily known for his pavement prowess.
No, he's not. He's a dirt guy. But look at Kenny Irwin. The 14 car wants his lead back. Goes underneath Mike Bliss and makes it work. The Bliss car is loose.
And here comes Bliss looking back on the inside. Irwin sees him trying to sneak down there, closes the door, tries to protect his position, holds back Bliss, at least for this lap.
And you know, all of this dicing up front has allowed 75 Jimmy Sills and 63 Jack Hewitt to catch up and close that. Ooh, that was close.
Very close coming out of corner number 4. The cars are practically out of control, these Silver Crown cars, when you come out of that long series of turns, 3 and 4. And boy, that was a very anxious moment. Here's Bliss to the inside of Irwin.
And Bliss has his hands full sawing on that great big diameter steering wheel, just about wearing the worm gear out of the steering box. He has got an animal to ride.
And Steve, they weren't listening to you. You're right. Look at Sills. Sills is now right on the back door. He's on the back sill, if you will.
Well, this is just great USAC competition. USAC standing for the United States Auto Club. I believe we've said that.
Yeah, and there's Hewitt. So now we've got 4 cars under a blanket, proverbial, as racers at short tracks used to say, going for the top spot, the Silver Crown Championship here at the Copper Classic.
Mike Bliss trying the high side, carrying a lot of speed out of the corner. Now he drops right in behind in what little draft there is. Hunting around, looking around.
The first 2 cars, actually the first 4 cars, are all wrenched also by competitors, mechanics who are almost as famous as the drivers, as Mike Bliss goes to the high side of Irwin, and Mike Bliss once again captures the lead. He's really had to race hard for it, and that black car, look at Bentley Warren. Remember that Bentley started deep in this pack. He started in 26th, had to qualify through the non-qualifiers race yesterday afternoon, and he is having as good a race as anybody. And look up front. Now Irwin wants the lead back.
And he's got it. The 69 car of Bliss. Mike looks over like, just let's not get together here. Let's just, you know, arm's length there.
It almost does seem like they're going after the last lap. That black 6 car is Randy Tolsma. He has just gotten around the high side of Tampa, Florida's David Steele. They have run in the top 10 all day, and that is a battle currently for 5th.
And what's interesting is to look at the age across the field. There's guys in their 60s. There's guys that are barely in their 20s. The Silver Crown cars appeal seemingly to everyone.
But you know, Steve, the torch slowly has been passed in the last 3 seasons. The youngsters are taking over. Kenny Irwin and Tony Stewart probably lead that vanguard, and those are the 2 names that are consistently at the front. And Bliss is certainly not an oldster himself, just in his late 20s.
And interesting to see guys like Jack Houdenchild and Dave Blaney come over from the World of Outlaws to give these cars a try. And they're all having a great time with them, and good experience for them. Whoa! Speaking of Blaney, the World of Outlaws champion for 95 is out of this one. The Casey Luna Ford being pushed back to the pits. Stay with us. There is a lot of this race left. We are back at the Copper Classic, where the Silver Crown cars are putting on a golden performance. Have I gotten enough minerals in there yet? And here's a huge race. 63 Jack Hewitt, 75 Jimmy Sills.
And smoke now coming from Jimmy Sills' car as he enters corner number 3. Sills, who sat on the pole, may be experiencing a serious problem in the Dodge power underneath his hood.
It looks like something has gone awry, and that power plant is definitely off song, and Jimmy Sills is dropping back.
That's the white number 63 of dirt tracker Jack Hewitt, putting the challenge to Kenny Irwin Jr., who seems to be slowing a little bit. Interesting thing about the car that Irwin is in, this is the last Silver Crown car that Jeff Gordon drove before he graduated to stock cars.
Okay, let's check on the leader. 69 back, Mike Bliss. Look at the interval from first to second. More than it has been throughout the course of this event. And here is Jimmy Sills, the 75 car, the pole sitter, is out of the 96 Copper World Classic. He has been black flagged by USAC for apparently leaking fluids, and when it's that smoky, it's usually oil.
The black number 6 is Randy Tolsma. He started this race on the outside of row number 2. He dropped back about 4 positions. He's been picking up steam in recent laps, and right now Tolsma is closing in on Hewitt for 3rd place.
You've got to wonder if maybe he hasn't been pacing himself.
Oh, look at Hewitt, smoke, and that appears to be tire smoke. You see that car snow plowing, pushing, going into corner number 1.
Definitely tire smoke. The rubber, she's no longer meeting the road the way she should be. Side by side. Look at
this is Bentley Warren, that black number 29. That's the Louis Seymour car out of Marlboro, Massachusetts. They come a long ways to race, and Ben, who worked his way through the semi-feature yesterday, has given this just a terrific ride. Had he started up front, I believe Bentley would be leading this race.
I think you're probably right. 25, Tony Stewart regained 6th from Bentley Warren. Just a little touch there.
Jimmy Sills, as we mentioned, unfortunately has dropped out of this race. If you're wondering what happened to the guy who started on a pole, well, Bob is with him right now.
Well, the day is over for the pole sitter, Jimmy Sills. Black flagged, and evidently the car losing some oil. Jimmy, any idea what the problem was?
It's blown out somewhere, I think, in the front of the motor. As soon as I lift off the throttle, it gets much pressure up in the top and blows out. It's starting to get a little hard to see, and it's starting to oil up the brakes too. So it's one hard day.
Jimmy Sills is out of it. He was on the pole. He's had some gremlins in this Mopar number 75, but he's going to be back, guys.
Oh, it's got too much power to give up. And look at the smoke out of number 10, Rocky Hodges from Indianapolis. That is going to bring out a yellow. There's bound to be some oil on the racetrack that USAC would like to clean up. And it gives us a chance for Larry Newber, in a piece he recorded earlier, to tell us a little bit about the tire strategy going on here in the world of Silver Crown cars.
The Silver Crown crews only have 2 selections from which to choose for their tire compound. Crews call them 50s and 60s. The 50s, softer tire, very fast. The 60s, they're like rocks. They'll last ostensibly all day long. Now, rumor has it only about half a dozen of the teams have gone after the harder, slower tires. I can confirm for you that one of that half dozen is this team.
So Kenny Irwin Jr. is on the harder tires. Well, Jack Hewitt must have been on the soft ones. He has come into the pits under this yellow to mount rubber on the right side. Bob Gerald is with Mike Bliss's main man.
Doug Howells, the crew chief for Mike Bliss. You're in the lead right now, but we just saw a tire, a right front, come off Jack Hewitt's car that was blistered beyond recognition. You guys going to be all right on tires?
Yeah, all right, front tire's real good. No problem there.
You've talked with Mike on the radio now here during the break. Any concerns at all the rest of the way?
No, everything is okay right now. We just got to get to the end. We'll be all right.
And we're going to be all right when we come back to bring you the run for the checker here at Phoenix. Stay with us. Well, just before we went away to commercial, Doug Howells, Mike Bliss's crew chief, said, hey, we're looking good, rubber, everything. And apparently they are, because Bliss is blitzing this field in the 69 car.
The other guy who's really looking good is that black. Oh, and contact in corner number 1. We were just about to talk about Bentley Warren. That was he going on the high side of Doug KALITTA. They had contact going in the first corner, but Bentley really showed his veteran savvy by saving that car.
And the black 6 car, Randy Tolsma in second, 14 Kenny Irwin in the 3rd spot, and of course Mike Bliss is up front.
Irwin has really been struggling with that car for about the last 10 or 15 laps. You see it wiggling going into corner number 1. It's just off the setup. Either they didn't predict accurately before the race began how things were going to change to this point in the race, or something is broken.
Look at this formation flying. Really a mixed bag of 9, Chuck Gurney, Doug KALITTA, 222, Johnny Heidenrich, number 80, Jim Mahoney, Jack Houtenchild, Dave Darling. They're all back there just having a ball.
And some of them are lap traffic and some are on the lead lap. And there's Bentley really losing the handle coming out of corner number 4, allowing David Steele to move underneath. And I think Ben is slowing down. Maybe that contact with KALITTA has damaged. And Ben now is trailing heavy smoke from that Seymour Silver Crown car.
Well, it would appear for 29 Bentley Warren that something is rubbing on something, and the friction is not producing any positive results.
That's not the kind of coefficient of friction, I think, that the racers had in mind when they invented that term.
Indeed not.
There is Warren still thrashing away, trying to keep the horse running, as that's Chuck Gurney moving up. But now Bentley decides to give up the ghost. You saw him just kind of pull his hand back to the steering wheel. As look at that left front. The left front is showing significant wear, but I think it's a result of that contact he had a few laps ago. Now it goes flat entirely.
You know, you've prepared a car to go 25 laps. If you guess wrong, now is when everything starts to wear out.
Yes.
The tires, the suspension settings, everything starts to go wrong if you just missed it a little bit.
And there's another car that is expiring. That is Jim Mahoney, the Indianapolis area driver, who's a former winner here. By the way, we were talking about 6 cylinders before. 2 years ago, he won this race in a 6-cylinder.
Well, not too far away from getting the white flag is our leader, Mike Bliss. A couple of more corners, and he will know he has 1 lap to go, 1 mile.
Boy, Steve, Mike has become so good on this 1-mile track. He has won here in a super modified. This will be the 3rd time he's won in the Silver Crown cars. And I can remember just a few short years ago, maybe 6 or 7, when he came out of Oregon, and he had very little experience on these big tracks, but he is just expert on these long paved ovals.
And he's the kind of a kid with his character and his personality and his just savvy that's probably going to get a shot at Indianapolis.
If not NASCAR. The checkered flag goes to Mike Bliss for the 3rd time. He's also active in NASCAR's Super Truck Series. So is he headed toward Indianapolis, or is he headed toward Daytona?
Hopefully wherever the money is. Well, there's a man that's going to get the lion's share of today's purse, and we'll talk to him when we come back to Phoenix for the last time. For the 2nd consecutive year, the Copper World Classic USAC Silver Crown Trophy and prize money will go to Mike Bliss. Fantastic job holding off Randy Tolsma, Kenny Irwin Jr. They had a great fight. Tony Stewart, he had hoped for more. The defending series champion, and David Steele.
Here is the 93 Silver Crown champion, Mike Bliss. And Mike, congratulations. Heck of a job. Back-to-back in the same car, number 69. You own this joint.
Well, I can't say enough for Dale McClure and Doug Howells that prepares the car, and Keith Randall building the motors, and Randy Randall building the motors too. But everything ran good. The car ran really good. The motor just went real well. The car handled super, and the rest is just up to me, and it was just easy from there.
Well, you made it look easy, but all the way from 12th, Mike. I mean, and it happened very fast.
Well, I love to drive the beginning of the race fast. You got a full load. I like the cars with full loads of fuel. I just like the way they feel, so I like to go first and then back off at the end a little bit. Yeah, left.
Repeat next year?
Oh, we'll see. I hope so.
Here again, Larry Newber.
Kenny, a good weekend. Car developed a little bit of push, it looked like, in a race.
We had to push the whole race from the very start. We thought it would kind of grease up and get slick, and we'd be all right, but we just had to push the whole race, and it definitely cost us the race today.
Why all the speed in the beginning, though? You were very strong in the first 10 laps.
Because before the right front would get hot, it was sticking good. The right front just went away because it was pushing so bad that after a few laps, we were just junk.
Other than power, if there's anything more important in motorsports than tires, I haven't seen it yet. Any big surprises here for you, Larry?
Only because Bliss won so easily when the field is now so strong.
For Larry Newber and Bob Gerald, I'm Steve Evans. We'll see you soon on TNN's Race of the Week. A promotional consideration has been provided for and a fee paid by this special offer from Diamond P Sports.